There is something seriously wrong going on when it comes to sports. The integrity is more questionable now than it has ever been before. Late last month, as we all know, Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, Damon Jones, all arrested for illegal gambling. In Damon Jones' case, in Chauncey Billups' case, in Terry Rozier's case, we're talking about fixed.
Okay, so he's basically admitting this is unfolding inside 3 different schools. The wild part? This isn't some freak incident. This is a full-blown disaster. It's tearing through college basketball faster than anyone can react. And trust me, the truth is way darker than what you're hearing. Everyone keeps talking about those 6 players getting banned, but what about the ones slipping under the radar? Because honestly, these setups are so blatant it's almost insulting. Are these guys really that clueless? Or is there a whole group of smarter operators running the show and never getting touched? I'm about to break this open for you, because after this, every close game will look completely different.
NBA has an issue on their hand. You had the Michael Porter Jr., the Jonte Porter case. You had the Michael Beasley case that's still up in the air. Most recently, Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones. Basketball is in a place. Is something going to come down the pike when it comes to the WNBA? When it comes to WNBA leadership? WNBA officials, perhaps? WNBA players, perhaps? Going 2 for 15 on a random...
Did you catch what he said about the WNBA? Everyone's glossing over that part, but it's massive. He's pointing to an entire league where nobody's even checking for this stuff. Just think about that. If players and investigators aren't watching the WNBA, what's stopping the exact same schemes from happening there? A player shoots 4 for 15 on a random Wednesday, and people shrug it off as an off night. But after this, you'll never see a bad game the same way again. And here's where it gets insane. The biggest name caught so far is B.J. Freeman from Arizona State. Not some forgotten bench player chasing pocket change. He was the team's second leading scorer, putting up nearly 14 points a night. A legit talent torching his entire future. And wait till you hear what he was actually doing.
He will never play college basketball again, nor will the former players at Mississippi Valley State and New Orleans. Said Quavius Hunter, Daquavian Short, Jamon Vincent, Donovan Sanders, and Alvin Stredrick. Freeman's case was first reported by CBS Sports in September. The NCAA uncovered his infractions while looking into a different case tied to former Fresno State basketball player Mikal Robinson. Records on Robinson's phone indicated that on 4 separate occasions between November and December 2024, Freeman knowingly provided information to Robinson, who was betting on Freeman through daily fantasy sports accounts. According to the Committee on the Infractions Report, Freeman also knowingly provided information on at least 2 occasions to his then-girlfriend, who was also...
So here's the bombshell. Freeman was secretly feeding info to his girlfriend and a guy named Mael Robinson. He was literally scripting their bets. Take the over on my points. Take the over on my threes. And then he was trying to hit those exact numbers in real time. But it gets crazier. When investigators confronted him, he lied through his teeth. Claimed he hadn't shared a thing. Claimed he didn't even have a DraftKings account, except the account was in his name, linked to his email, and he'd been funding it while still at Arizona State. You're literally watching a young athlete torch his entire future right in front of your eyes, and for what? This isn't a multi-million-dollar scam. We're talking about a kid chasing a few $1,000, maybe less. The wildest part? Freeman got booted from Arizona State in February, and not even because of the gambling. He was planning a transfer to UCF in the spring, probably thinking he was in the clear. Then, bam. Permanent ban. No more college hoops. His career was obliterated before it even began. But Freeman's reckless scheme? That's just the tip of the iceberg compared to what was unfolding at the University of New Orleans. Brace yourself,
calls on the same day with a known bettor who told them to lay it down for the next game. This is as blatant as you can get when it comes to fixing games, rigging outcomes, jonesing the system, if you will. At MVSU, Mississippi Valley State, the NCAA claims it found more of the same, albeit in another scheme that was unconnected to the activity at University of New Orleans. The NCAA's probe began with the team's 79-67 loss at Alabama A&M on January 6th, but as the investigation continued in 2025, they uncovered game fixing dating back to the week of Christmas.
Now it gets even more insane. Texts show Short and Hunter talking about getting $5,000, $5,000, just to throw a single game. And they're on FaceTime calls with a known bettor, taking instructions on what to do in the next matchup. This isn't teenage foolishness. This is organized crime operating right in college basketball. We're not talking about kids making stupid choices. This is methodical, orchestrated game fixing, with outsiders literally pulling the strings. But wait, it gets darker. There's a third school in the mix. Mississippi Valley State had its own web of corruption, and what investigators uncovered shows just how deep this rabbit hole goes. The NCAA's probe started with a single game, a loss to Alabama A&M in January. But when they scratched the surface, they found game-fixing schemes stretching all the way back to Christmas week. And the way it played out, it reads like a scene ripped straight from a crime thriller.
24 game, he overheard Donovan Sanders on the phone with an unknown third party talking about throwing the game, the NCAA states. Sanders asked the student athlete to participate in the call because a third party had told Sanders the individual intended to bet on the game and wanted to know that another of Sanders' teammates would participate in the scheme. The student athlete denied altering his performance or receiving money from Sanders or any other individuals. Sanders texted the same student athlete after the game and told him to delete their messages.
All right, picture this. Before their December 20th matchup, during the 21st game, one student athlete overhears Donovan Sanders on the phone. Sanders isn't talking casually, he's plotting to throw the game. Then he does the unthinkable. He tells the teammate to get on the call because the bettor wants confirmation that another player is in on it. Think about that. Right before tip-off, Sanders is trying to drag his own teammate into the scheme. And when that student refuses, Sanders texts him after the game, demanding he delete every message. That's how blatant he knew he was breaking the rules. Sanders understood exactly what he was doing, and that he needed a cover-up. He just wasn't smart enough to realize investigators could retrieve those messages. And it gets darker. Sanders and another player, Alvin Strand, were literally paid to make sure Mississippi Valley State lost their January 6th game against Alabama A&M. They were cashing checks to betray their own team. At this point, you might think, okay, the NCAA will handle this. But brace yourself, the way they're managing it is so hypocritical it's enough to make your head spin.